Hi guys, welcome to Coding Ambitions. Today we will learn about data binding in Android. So let's begin with that. But first of all, I would like to tell you guys, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel for Android, Flutter, Kotlin and Merge tutorials. So let's continue with data binding. So basically, what is data binding? So as of before using the data bindings, all of Android developers were using the findViewByIds, and after that we started using the view binding, and then this is data binding. Basically, view binding and data binding are similar, but there are some differences in between them. I will cover the differences in the coming videos on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that. So today we will learn about data binding. Basically, it's similar to view binding, but you can say view binding plus some more features. So basically, view binding is just for simplicity, like just replacing the find view by ID. But if you want some more features, like using the expressions in the layouts, so using the declarative way of updating the views, so then you can use data binding. So first of all, I would like to show you guys how we can update enable this data binding. So first of all, you need to add the build feature script in the Gradle, and then data binding true. So first step is this will enable the data binding to use in our project. And basically, both view binding and data binding creates the binding classes, and binding classes holds the references to all the views, like text view. So this is the example which I was trying earlier, so I will explain it from the beginning. Like, this is the text view, so you can just reference this view using its ID in the data binding, and basically from its ID its reference gets created in the binding class. So now we will see how we will set the content view, how we will use the data binding here. So let's say, first of all, take the variable, we will take let init var binding activity main binding. It's not yet showing that thing here. Let's check it again. Build features, the binding true, and now let's add. Basically, for using the data binding, we need to, in the XML file, we need to use the layout tag. So layout tag is the main tag for data binding. If layout tag is not present in the layout file, then data binding will not work. So for adding the layout tag here, so there is the shortcut provided by Android Studio. You can just right click here, show context action, and then convert to data binding layout. It will automatically convert the layout to data binding layout using the layout, and inside layout there are two parts, data, and second one is the view part, root of the view. So now data binding will be enabled, and we will see it here. Let's see if it's showing now. Activity, yes, it's showing now. You can see here activity main binding. And now what we will do is we will initialize this variable. So basically there are two ways here. I prefer the activity main binding dot inflate method this way here. There is one more way that is related to data binding util, so you can just search that data binding util and dot set content view, it's related to that. But I find this method is easy because this is used in both view binding and data binding as well, so it's easy to just use the binding and inflate the layout using layout inflator, and then now we need basically root view. Then pick up that root view just using the binding dot root, because this is the main root layout. This contains the root of this layout view. This is the view, and of this is the root layout. So this will be the root of that layout. And now we don't need to set up like this. We will just set the root here. So this is the root. And now I will explain some more things here. So how this is the name of the XML file, and how is this get converted into this, because in the data binding and view binding both, the name gets converted into the Pascal case. So every first letter of each word gets capitalized, and this is for the class. And for the, as we talk about the IDs, what it do is, let's say ID is let's say ID is just text view. So it will convert this into camel case. So first character of first word will be small, and thereafter after each underscore, each first character of the word after underscore will get capitalized. So this will become text view. This will become text v capital view. So that is the camel case. So and now we will learn about data binding, how we will. So what we are going to do here is, we will basically, what data binding do is, it uses the declarative approach rather than programmatically approach. Because in the programmatically approach, what we do is, we just update the data. Let's say find view by ID, and then pick up that view here. Let's say ID dot text view, and then set text. So this is the way of programmatic way of updating the views. So what data binding do is, it binds the UI components, your view components, to the data sources using declarative ways. We are not setting it programmatically, but we will declare here how this value will be updated. So that is the main purpose of data binding. And what are the advantages of this? First of all, let's complete this, then I will come to that. So let's say this is the old way of updating the data, and now we can set its value as we require, just anything. So this is the programmatic way, but now we don't need this way, but we will use just declarative way. And let's continue with the declarative way. Let's say we want to update this data using some value from any kind of model class. We have some kind of model class or something. So for that, this is the model class I have created. So now we will use this variable inside this layout. And how we will do that is using the variable tag, and name, we can use any name here, and then package. Basically it's asking for the complete package of the class. So, and now we will reference this variable inside these views. And before that, what we need to do is, we will have to set that variable here. And how we can do that? Binding dot, and it will show you the variables here which you have declared there. So this is the variable, it will show you here whenever you will use dot here. So user is the variable, and what we will do here is set its value there. Let's say there are two variables, name and age. So for the name, let's set it to the coding ambitions, and let's say for the age we will just set 1 year, because this is not very old. So coding ambitions is a very new channel. And now what we will do is, we have just set the data here. This is the data source. Basically you can say this is the data source, and this is the variable bind to this data source from this layout we have. And now we will use that variable here at the rate. This syntax is used for using the variables at the rate, then curly braces. Now user dot, this will show you the variables of that class. So let's use name here. So what it will do is, we don't need to set the data now programmatically. We have assigned this data source, we have set the data source in the binding, and now we can use binding here. So this is the declarative way. Every time we will update the value of this username, or we will update this data, so this will gets updated automatically using this variable. Whenever this variable will be updated, it will get automatically updated. So this is the declarative way of programming that data binding is using. So let's see it. What is the value of this? Yes, you can see here coding ambitions. This is picking up the data from this variable. So now we are not setting this value using programmatically, and there are some more things which are related to data binding. So and I forgot to tell you the advantages of data binding as well. What are the advantages of data binding? Basically, this binding is done at compile time, so it reduces the runtime errors as well, and it also reduces the null pointer exceptions there as well, because data binding class automatically assigns the null values to the values whose value does not found, and so this way it reduces the null pointer exception errors. So this is the huge advantage of the data binding. And now we will see some more features of data binding. Let's say we want to use some kind of view, and then we can use that library here as well. Let's say we want to use view here, so you can use this, import this class here, and then you can use this class. Just for I'm just testing it using just simple true, or you can just use any condition here, 1 equal to 1. If this is true, then we can set. So what we will do is just we will use view class here and view dot visible. This is just an example. For using this view class here, we will need to import this class here, and else we can set view dot open. This is just an example, so for understanding. So this way we can use this. Similarly, we can use other classes as well, like collections and some more libraries. We can use those libraries or classes here very easily. So and these are some advantages, these are some features of cool features of data binding. And let's say we want to use collections here, then you can import the java.util.list here. So let's see that here, java dot. So this way you can use many things here. This way you can use now lists here, and now this will show error because we have removed that import. And similarly we can use some type aliases as well here. Let's redo this, and like if we want to use this list class, we can set alias to this. Let's say we can just set the alias as list, so or we can set anything like on list, just customization, just for the customization. Now this on list will be of this list. It will work as if we are using list. This list will work as that list. So similarly, there are some more things which we will cover in the coming videos. Otherwise, this video will become very large, because data binding is a very large functionality. You can say there are some more features like using or calling the methods here, how we can call methods here, and how we can use binding adapters. What are binding adapters? Similarly, what is two-way data binding, one-way data binding? Basically, this is one-way data binding, and we will talk about two-way data binding in the coming videos. So for all learning about all those features, stay tuned to my YouTube channel. And so this is about data binding. Just this is, you can think of it as an introduction, and in the coming videos we will cover all the topics in depth. So stay tuned to the channel. I hope you guys now have an idea about data binding. I will also cover a separate video on what are the differences between view binding and data binding as well. So this is for all. This is all for this video. I will see you in the coming videos. Till then, bye bye. Take care, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. So bye bye. Take care. Have a great time. Keep coding.